Hey guys, today I'm reading Family, Regardless of Blood or Time by Blue Seabird 2. This is chapter 2, called Park Visits. Here's the summary for this chapter. Shota goes to the park. He then goes to other parks so his kids can make friends because they deserve that. Baby Izuku thinks Shota deserves something as well. Shota returned to the park. He returned to the park the next day, jittery with the phantom hugs of friends who knew more had happened than he was admitting, and were struggling to let it be. He returned the day after and the one after that as well. He didn't sit on the edges anymore. Izuku and Tenko had taken their mother's approach as open session, and the next time Shota didn't even get 5 minutes of alone time before being besided by a smiling green babble monster. It was adorable and also very frightening. The kid was smart, even so young, and the analysis that baby Izuku casually sprouted was actually quite accurate. Shota had blinked and then told baby Izuku exactly that, because Shota was pretty sure the kid didn't get enough positive encouragement. This thought was confirmed by Izuku's blushing face and sudden stammering departure to go investigate something by the picnic tables. Tenko huffed but tugged lightly with blood figures on Shota's sleeve. "Thanks," Tenko muttered before chasing after his brother. Shota followed a couple of minutes later, because really, if they were going to be jumping off picnic tables as part of their game, then they should be using much better form. Inko laughed at him the entire way, which was nothing compared to her laughter a week later when one Bakugo Katsuki was added to the group. It actually wasn't that hard. Bakugo and Tenko had been having a screaming match, apparently a regular habit, by the bushes just out of easy earshot of their parents, Izuku fretting beside them. Shota had shown Bakugo his hero license, blown Bakugo's mind when he said Shota worked with many heroes that fought quirkless, and then challenged all three kids to a modified game of Capture the Flag, where baby Izuku and his clever little mind kicked their asses. It wasn't enough, not really, but it was a foot in the door that Izuku and Tenko were happy to use to storm the castle of Bakugo's Purchase. Shota made a second contribution a week later by showing his UI teacher's ID and having a very honest conversation about what he looked for in students and how many kids he expelled for any kind of bullying, and then defined bullying. Bakugo was still an arrogant brat, but Shota rather thought he wouldn't be a bully this time around. Not with Tenko's sharp eyes and twitching fingers hovering over Izuku's shoulder, as a constant challenge that someone could protect Izuku better and more respectfully than Bakugo. The complete and utter restructuring of their school and the appearances of new teachers that had been vetted by Nezu wouldn't hurt either. The next big change happened on a weekend about a month after Inko had sat next to him and refused to be moved from his life. His day was supposed to be simple: lunch with Asashi and Nemuri, followed by a pre-arranged park visit. Both Inko and Bakugo Mitsuki kept insisting on texting him to make said arrangements. Bakugo Mitsuki had taken to befriending him with a fierceness that made sense for her personality, but baffled Shota in terms of the stranger with no kids hanging around the park. He supposed Inko probably intimidated something about the lost his child thing, or maybe the got your child to smarten up thing, or even the my family has forcibly adopted a sad man, no explanations given then. Shota also hadn't given any explanations to Hisashi and Emily. They normally did lunch at least once a week, but had missed out so far due to a couple of heavy cases. One more all-for-one base was dust and ash, on top of the exam season. Shota wasn't going to miss the meal, not with their touches still so grounding, not when he remembered a time when there had been no more meals at all. He'd been checking his phone a lot though. The two women had told their kids he was coming, and Shota wasn't about to disappoint them by being late. Namori's cold hand and apple-painted nails rested on his when he checked for it for the third time in 10 minutes after they had finished eating. You can go, Sho. Shota looked up to see her smile. The soft one she only used on him, Sash, and the kids she met were hearing him. You don't need to tell us, hon. Not yet. Whatever you've been going after school and on weekends has clearly been helping. You're settling like you haven't since before your mission with All Might. Shota winced because he really hadn't told them a lot about that mission, which they respected because they were professionals, but hated because he kept waking up in their apartments with silent screams in his throat. Hisashi made a sound at the wince and laid his hand on theirs. Hey, none of that now. We get it. We do. Whatever you need, Sho. Time, security, whatever you need. Just introduce us sometime, yeah? Shota thought of Inko's kind smile and Tenko's challenging smirk. He thought of baby Bakugo and his blustering that stuttered when he was around actual heroes. He thought of baby Izuku and his complete awe, and the faces he'd make at meeting President Mike and Midnight. Yeah, Shash, I will. He went to stand, but stopped to give Hisashi a hug because the man still looked a little sad, and Shota didn't like it when Hisashi was sad. The angle ended up a little awkward since Shota was standing and Emily latched on immediately, but there were strong arms around Shota and he could smell the spice and tea scents that had long since been his home. There had been a time when his home was gone. He might have even had a lingering smile when he made it to the park, though that fell when he saw an agitated Inko talking on her phone. He placed a hand on her back and squished the feelings that tried to raise up when she leaned into the motion. She ended her call and turned to him. I'm so sorry, but Mitsuki's assistant made a mistake and they're trying to fix it before a deadline. So I said I would take Katsuki, but that was the library on the phone. There's a flood. It's minor, but water and books and technology don't go together. And well, is it possible for you to watch the kids, just for a few hours? Shota stared. She wanted him to babysit. You want me to babysit? Shota asked, just to make sure he was following. If you have time. I didn't mean to oppose. It's fine. I don't patrol until 8 tonight. If you trust me, I'd be happy to. Inko's face softened from worry into fondness. Of course we trust you. Thank you, Shota. She turned to the three boys clustered around them. Be good for Shota now, alright? After getting nods and disapproving head pats, she gave a final farewell and left to wrangle staff, books, and water. Shota looked down at the three hooligans he was suddenly in charge of and their bright, sharp little eyes. What? Tenko shrugged and Izuku beamed. Katsuki squalled. What are we going to do, old man? Shota sighed. This was what he got for modifying different training exercises into games. A regular trip to the park just wouldn't do anymore, apparently. At least when he was actually in charge. Well, that was fine. Shota had plans he might as well start implanting. He wants to go to a different park. Tenko and Katsuki were intrigued. Their desire for adventure shining through their grumbling that it was still a park as Shota shifted them towards the train. Why? Izuku asked, all sunshine to the other boy's scowls. Shota scooped the boy up, briefly burying his face in green curls, as baby Izuku laughed in a way that Shota's Izuku had long stopped. Because I know a few kids who could use a friend. Izuku looked down at Shota with ocean-filled eyes. Most kids don't want to be my friend. These ones do. These ones need a perfectly Izuku-shaped friend. Are you sure? Izuku whispered. Fragile hope. The electress that once held an entire society. Shota's entire world together. Kid, I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Shinzo was the first target because he was easy. Shota had already confirmed that Shinjo was in his final foster home and pulled a few background strings to help his new parents into being able to keep him. It had taken an hour of sun in the park by said foster home, 2 hero games, and Izuku's excited babbling about how cool brainwashing was as a quirk to secure Shunzo's friendship. Tenko and Katsuki's snorting at the purple-haired kid and explaining that their quirks could cause way more damage. They'd make much better villains. Don't be dumb, probably hadn't hurt. Shoto wasn't the slightest bit proud, and no one could prove that. The ice cream he had brought them all wasn't related in the slightest. Ida was also easy. Soja just called Tensei and set up a play date the following week. They'll only answer after answering the man to security. Ida was also easy. Shota just called Tensei and set up a play date the following week, though only after swearing the man to secrecy and allowing a photo of Shota being buried in children who had captured the villain as future blackmail. Ida also brought with him Yairozu, because Yairozu's mother had been talking to the Idas at the last Hero Charity event thing about her worry about her daughter's socialization. Ida and Yairozu combined gave Shota an entrance to the Todorokis, since they all ran in similar daylight hero circles. It took planning and coordination, but Shota had only needed one park playdate to get everything secure. Shota had fucking imprinted on Izuku, which was hilarious even without Katsuki's frustrated anger. Even better, Tenko and Toya had immediately dissolved into protective big brother, hovering and very loud arguments. Shota was pretty sure that he had never seen Tenko have so much fun. Inko and Mitsuki had also latched on to Rei, befriending her with the aggressive softness that Shota had experienced. Between the two of them and his own contracts, he was sure they could get the Todorokis the help they needed. Tokiyami was added when a bully made the mistake of insulting him for his mutation quirk, only to be immediately set upon by Shota's small Helligan army. Mitsu's words that neither Inko nor Shota had actually agreed. Shoji joined a week later when Tokiyami shyly asked if they could go to yet another different park where he'd seen someone be named to a different kid with a mutation quirk. Ashido and Kirishima were introduced through sheer force of friendliness and excitement of hero games that Shota designed very carefully. Shota was pretty sure Izuku had a map of all the parks in the area and was drafting a visitation schedule. Shota wondered if he should show Izuku his own schedule of the different games and activities he had created. His kids need to be able to protect themselves, regardless of whether or not they choose to be heroes this time around, and he thinks sometimes that he is a truly selfish man because he would be okay if they didn't. If they never gave their lights and their blood to the world, if that would just keep them safe. So Shota designed the games to match their current abilities, to push how they think and believe, to foster teamwork and trust, to have fun. The kids deserve to have fun. The others would come over time. Not everyone went to the park. Not everyone lived nearby. Ayomi was in France. He would help them though. He would save them. He had time. He had blood in his teeth and ghost in his bones and time. Baby Izuku leaned into Shota's side as they sat on a park bench, watching a very cutthroat game of tag that had Tenko and Toya working together to terrorize the younger children. "You let yourself be tagged," Shota said bluntly as he sipped his coffee. The breeze was cool and soft through the trees. Izuku hummed, "Yep. What do you want?" Izuku laughed before looking up at Shota through curly hair. "You know, you're the only one who is always convinced I'm up to something. You have a very sneaky mind." Shota poked Izuku in the forehead, the boy going cross-eyed, trying to follow the finger. "It's a good thing. Still, even more than Mama, even more than Tenko, and he's usually planning with me." Shota snorted. The kid wasn't wrong. They went back to watching the game as Aiyosu dove to the ground in an excellent dodge. Shota was patient. He
Well knew that Izuku would speak in his own time. Nothing ever came from pushing the kid. There's a lot of us now, Izuku said around his bit lip. There are. Is that a good thing? Shota asked. It's amazing, the kid breathed. And it's because of you. I'm not the one making friends, but you're bringing us together, like glue, or like a school, but better. Izuku tilts his head. Shinsho was talking about calling you Aizawa sensei. The others really liked it, so don't freak out when they start. Shota flinched, which baby Izuku caught because he had wrapped both arms around Shota's forearm. Kid, Aizawa sensei, because you're teaching us to be heroes. Shota flinched again. I am not. I'm teaching you to defend yourselves. You don't need to be heroes. I know, Izuku said with more attitude than Shota had ever heard from this baby Izuku. You've given all of us that speech, but I want to be a hero. It's all I've ever wanted. All most of us want, in one way or another. And I appreciate that you're trying to give us choices. I do. Choices are something I haven't been given very often, but I'm going to be a hero. I know you know that. You're the only one who really knows that. Shota dropped his head onto Izuku's. You're gonna be the greatest hero I've ever met. He turned to watch Juro and Ashido perform a flawless jailbreak. You all are. You all are. Good. So don't be surprised when they call you Aizawa sensei. Shota opened his mouth to respond but paused, switching tracks as he noticed something. They, not you. Izuku tightened his grip on Shota's arm. We're different. Mama and Tenko and I. Shinso's your favorite. I don't have favorites. And Kachan amuses you when he's not being a brat. And you're worried about the Todorokis a lot. But we're different. I'm different. Izuku looked up with green grass eyes, rivers of observation and fear and bravery. Is it because I look like your son? Shota sucked a breath into lungs filled with scars. Mama told us about him, that he was gone and you were sad, but it's why you were so good with kids, and we needed to be gentle and try not to fix your sadness except with hugs. But you stare at me sometimes, Izuku continued, relentless as he always was. And you keep up with me, handle me. Even Mama doesn't always understand where my brain goes. Tenko promised to follow, but he doesn't always get where I'm going, get why. Katrin doesn't either, or he wouldn't have been mean to me before, I think. But you do, and you smile when I'm too much and too talkative and too energetic, like it's a good thing, like it makes you happy. Izuku leaned away from Shota's hand with a scowl, not afraid but determined to be interpreted. So, I was thinking, if I look like your son and act like your son, then maybe we would have been family, not brothers, because I have one of those, and though you've been really good for Mama, I'm not doing you better. Those were not the words he wanted to say, but Shota wasn't sure exactly what the words he wanted to say were. Izuku looked at Shota like he was stupid. It was a very good, you're stupid look. Probably even better than the one Shota leveled at that first year who set fire to your desk earlier in the week. Obviously, you're in love with Sash. What? You never even met Hasashi. Izuku scoffed. You talk about him a lot, and get a look on your face. He reached up and put a small hand under Shota's eyes. In your eyes, you get it when you look at me too. It's soft and sad and full of love. Izuku's hand shook lightly when it pressed into Shota's skin. Shota removed it and held the hand between his own, as he'd used to when his Izuku was exhausted and broken and on the edge of a future that would never ever happen. A lot of people hate me, Izuku said quietly, but factfully. They think I'm worthless or broken. I know the difference between that and love. I know you love me, and I love you too. So I want to call you Uncle. I want you to be my uncle because I'm like your son, and that means we could have been cousins, and you can be my mama's brother because having a brother is great and she deserves that, and you'd be family. I want you to be family, Izuku whispered. Shota let go, and he saw Izuku flinch, saw him start to withdraw. He started crying when he realized Shota only let go so he could bundle the boy onto his lap and mutter, Okay, okay, yes, sure, I love you, too, I do. Shota had never been good at denying any version of Izuku. Not really. Not for anything that didn't directly impact his health. They sat like that until Izuku stopped crying, until the warmth from the small, safe, happy version of his son, his nephew, soaked into Shota's muscles. It reached that dark, guilty spot in his heart that still missed his Izuku, that loved this lovely little boy but missed the hurt yet still so kind man that he had once become. Inko watched them from across the park, guarding Green Eyes happy and somehow reminding him, as she so often did, that grief was okay, that things could be better if better was different, that he might be trying to save them, but they were trying to save him just as much. Fuck, Shota thought as Izuku eventually ran to tell his mother of his successful adoption of Shota into the family. Hisashi was going to adore these people. Izuku thinks you're from the future, Tenko said from where he was leaning on the back of the bench, staring off into the trees behind Shota. Shota had known he was there because Tenko was always there when Izuku was crying. Izuku is a very bright boy, Shota admitted, the words drawn out of him with bleeding edges. Surely he could be done with the emotional conversations and world-altering moments. Please? Did I hurt Izuku in the future? Shota closed his eyes, very badly. The words sat between them before Tenko snorted. Not even gonna try and soften the blow? You don't like lies, and sure, that version of you was manipulated and very hurt yourself. But that's not going to change how you feel, is it? Tenko paused again. The kid often thought about what he was going to say well beforehand, unless he got into an argument, and his temper flared. Shoto wasn't sure if that was the therapist's influence, Inko's, or even Izuku's, but he didn't imagine this conversation would be any different. No, Tenko finally admitted, it doesn't. Don't do it this time. Tenko finally turned to him with faint lines of incredulousness on his face. That's it? That's your advice? Shota closed his eyes. Neither you or Izuku are ever going to be who you are. I've made damn sure of that. Tenko, for obvious reasons. But even Izuku deserves a chance to be something completely different. Izuku deserved to live without the chains wrapped around his bones, hurting and bending him at every attempt to grow. Shota may have loved the Izuku who stood with him, back to back against the world, but he would give his bleeding heart to save the boy from those scars. Tenko stared at him through long hair that Inko had let slip was left that way to match Shota's. You have to take responsibility. You have to make me a good hero. Shota almost wanted to snort. He would not be the first to jump on the boy if he heard Zuku, not with the way planned friend was going. Shota didn't, though, because he understood the trust in the question. If you listen to me, then sure. Shota replied. This version of Tenko had potential after all. He had something he wanted to protect more than anything. Tenko turned around but let his shoulder press into Shota's back over the bench. Okay, he had a deep breath, expelling the fears so old they had cobwebs. Okay, Uncle. Shota nodded. Things were okay. They were. Things were not okay. Izuku was so tired. He was tired of playing monster, tired of pretending he had energy, that he hadn't been burnt out years and futures ago, tired of lying to All Might. He hadn't expected the heroes to jump on the information he managed to send so quickly,
To be so ready and willing to take down a villain so good at hiding that most didn't even know he was there. He hadn't expected All Might himself to respond to Izuku's coded communications. Oh, there were others, but frequently it was All Might. Izuku recognized his once mentor's quiet, calm, unwavering support, brutal strength, and ruthlessness. Izuku recognized the worry, the care, the kindness that crept in from the inside man that All Might had never even met. They were down another hideout, toppled with the finances Izuku had scavenged and testimonies underground heroes had gathered from a rather impressive trafficking takedown. Izuku almost wondered if Eraserhead was involved, even though he knew his dad Zara would be at UA and had no reason to know about All Might just yet. Izuku ached to search and find and examine any piece of information on his dad, his mom, his friends, but he couldn't dare, not when even the slightest discovery would put a target on their backs. He couldn't handle a target on their backs, not when he could help them, save them. Maybe when it was over, when everyone was gone, maybe then he could stop telling All Might he was fine. Could even take All Might up on the surprisingly several offer of a job as an analyst in his agency, or a new identity altogether. Could check on his people. Could maybe help baby Izuku decide the fact that the kid would likely never get one for all. Could ensure his dad Sawa was okay. Izuku could hold out for them. He could do this for them. He could. Izuku returned to his office chair. He returned to his chair and his keyboard, jittery with the phantom hopes of friends who might never care about him, but would now get the chance to be okay. So that was part two. I haven't posted an update for this fic in a while, so sorry about that. I forgot. I don't know. I actually, uh, I'm still reading this. I promise. I promise. I'm still reading this. I'm working on chapter 2 and 3 as well. Um, but let me know what you guys would think if I did crossovers or different animes like One Piece or Naruto or have you guys read any of the fan fictions where Izuku meets Zoro and there's that whole shebang there, or how Zoro is Izuku's dad, and I don't know, I fall into this rabbit hole a lot. I'm caught up on the manga in One Piece, so fan fiction is what fills my time now. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think now. See what I can add and see what I can do. Anyways, I'll see you guys all later. Have a good night and bye.